Hey everybody, this is Angie from Color Tree Creations. Hoping that this video will turn out good. I'm using my newer phone with the broken lens. My old phone that I use just to record videos and upload videos with, for some reason is giving me fits tonight, and I can't get it to, like when it records, 8 minutes into the video, it says it's out of storage. I have no pictures, no videos, nothing else on that phone. So I guess I'm going to have to look into buying a dedicated camera just for recording or something, because I can't get my videos from this phone onto YouTube unless I upload it to my Amazon account first, because it's an Amazon Fire phone. Yes, I know they don't make them anymore. It's an older phone, but it's awesome. I love the phone. I hope to God I don't have to give it up for at least another year or two. I'm one of those. I don't do change with technology well. Anyway, enough yammering. I'm going to go for this again, after I think 3 times of data failure, 2 times of knocking the phone off, being interrupted by text messages, phone calls, children, and Facebook notifications, that I kind of had to answer because it had something to do with my business. I'm hoping everybody's settled down because it's nighttime now. All right. This is the journal cover. This isn't the one I made before with you guys. This is the one I made the other night with Jens. This is for my MS walk donation. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be my Eternal Summer printable. I'm not going to put the cover, the actual cover pages on it yet. I want to get my signatures in there first, and what's going to happen is I'm going to show you guys how I do my hidden spine. There are a lot of people who use this method. I think it's Debbie from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. She's the one I originally saw doing the hidden spine, and I started trying to mimic her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to center where my spine is. I cut myself a spine piece out of a piece of Little Debbie snack cake box. Marked off where I want my holes, poked them through using a push pin, thumbtack, whatever you want to call it. But I guess I should have mentioned this. When I did cut my spine piece, I cut it just slightly smaller than my 1.5 inch actual spine, so that it would fit in there nice and good and still be able to close up without catching on that spine. But that's the reason why I was folding this up. I wanted to make creases here so that whenever I do glue it down, and also so I know where to glue it down to, so that it will fit in there nice and snug and neat, because I'm going to be gluing it in. Anywho, I'm going to show you what I use to sew with. I use this. It's just number 10 crochet cotton. I also sometimes use this. It's mercerized cotton thread. It's old school. Like, I bought this at a yard sale. And I use a nice big thick needle so that I can see it if I drop it, and also because I like to be able to hold it. It's substantial. If you want to use a smaller needle, go for it. It's all up to the individual. This is my first signature. This has not been, I haven't poked my holes. You guys get to watch that. I made myself a template, and this same template has the same measurements as my spine in there, the one that I'm going to sew into. So what I did after I got that done is I found the center mark on here, found out how long, which ended up being 4 1/4 inches, and then I cut off the excess when folded in half so that it will be the same length as my pages. And all I do is I fold my pages up like this, and I find my little push pin, and I find the mark, you know, there's a cross area here. I didn't even think about doing this. Make a little dot where, oh, it's kind of hard to see sometimes the way this light is in order for you guys to see what I'm doing on camera. So this is my envelope. It was glued shut for just a moment. I mean, it grabbed really quick because I forgot that I was gonna sew it into the spine for the middle here, in the middle of my signature. All right, so I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna try to go as straight as possible. It's a little wonky, but that's okay. If you don't tell, I won't. Nobody will be the wiser, right? Sorry, I keep getting off. There we go. Keep getting off camera. I have to put this phone a different way in order to use it. So it's set up, everything's set up different, so I can't even really see. I have a lot of pages in here, so they're kind of rough to get through. But I don't want to push too hard and rip anything, so I gotta go, ow, like that. At least it was that I did. Ouch. See, it didn't tear up the actual spine. There we go. Went through and fairly on track. So let's get the second one done. Oh, my thumb is still hurting. There's a sharp piece on the end of that thumbtack. I'm going to get a different one next time. Alright, so we want this at the top again. Let's do that one first. Sorry if I get my head in the way. I'm trying to look. Alright. Crud. I'll tell you what. I go about everything backwards anymore. There we go. It went through. Let's check and see how it did. It come out the side a little bit. Well, pew. I'm fairly certain you guys would really like to not have this seem like it's being shoved in your face. But that's the only way I can get the leverage I need in order to get it in. I use the clips. I used to use Bulldog clips, but it's easier to use the big paper clips for me now. So here's my spine piece. Here is my thread. I'm going to open it up and I start out in the middle. Now, if you want to have some your tied off thread in the front where you can glue little charms to it or put some beads and knot it, and so you have a little dangly in the middle, which I'm not, it doesn't matter what I'm doing because I'm going to fold this envelope up. But I'm just saying for you guys, if you want to do that, then you go in from the front side. If you don't want that and you want your tie off on the back, you get your spine set up and you go in from the middle on the back. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to get my first, let me make sure, yeah, that's right side up. This paper is really thick. That's the old ledger that I have. It's, I don't know, it's so old that the company that produced it, when I looked them up online, number one, they don't exist anymore. Number two, the address for St. Louis, where it's from, doesn't have an actual zip code. It's like 2 numbers and that's it. So the postal code was really different. Alright, then you come up through this one and you find your hole. And then you come back, whoops. You come back out your hole. And yep, I messed that up a little bit. But you know what? That's okay. Handmade, right? Stuff happens. Happens all the time. It also helps if you go in the same way. You know, hold your paper the same way. And you come back down here through. And you pull it out. Alright, now I'm going to tighten up. Because you can see that's loose. Well, that right there is why. Let's make sure we keep that in. I have a bit of, there we go, a catch. Let's see. Can you see that? I'm sorry if you can't. Alright, and I'm going to go back through. I hope y'all aren't getting seasick on me. Let me pull that tight. It's a little different when you're doing it without the book, the actual cover. It gets a little wonky, and I'm trying not to go through my thread and split it. Or make a second hole. Alright, what I do is I come up through on the other side and pull it up. I used a little too much thread, but that's okay. I usually do this because I don't want to go for a second bunch of thread. Alright, and then I just do a square knot. Your over and through thread is opposite each time, and then I do a third one just to be safe. And then I will leave this dangle a little bit because nobody's gonna know. And then I take my glue and to hold these down, since I'm going to move on to the next signature. And then when I'm done here, I will put a heart or a stamp or a ticket, something there. So now make sure which side's up, and then we come and grab this one. Thankfully it already has the holes poked through. And we will start sewing into the second set of holes. Again, coming in from the middle. And we'll find that middle hole there. And then I come up through. I'm always afraid if I pull too hard that I'm going to make a mess of it. So I turn it over. I come through this hole here on this. Sometimes it's easier to just do it like this. Also, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, we don't want to lose our thread there. I'll find my hole here. And come up and I'll pull it taut. Alright. Alright. And I go back down through this hole. Let's get our yarn here so it doesn't, our string thread, come out that hole, and then line up our hole on our spine. Pull it through. There we go. And it didn't get caught on the flap. And then we go back into the middle here. I'll probably have to look, because like I said, I don't like splitting that thread if I don't have to. And I'll make sure it comes up on the other side. I sure hope you guys are able to see this. And then you tighten it. You don't want to pull it too tight because you will rip your paper, but you also want to make sure that it's not too loose. You want it to bounce back a little bit when you rub your fingers across it. Not quite as tight as a guitar or something, but I have enough string there for a third signature. Man, I really overestimated. Alright, now I'll remove my paper clips. I fold that down and glue it so that it's a little, which I didn't do this with the other one. If it needs it, I'll go back in and add some more. But anyway, I fold that down so it adds a little extra strength to the envelope. Somebody's going to be going in and out of it at an angle, and of course flipping up on that, so I'm going to be securing that just to help hold it in place while it dries. And there you go, there's your sewn hidden spine. And I'll put a little bit of glue on the actual spine part, but that's not what I expect to hold it as much as the extra paper. I mean, it will help hold it in, but this part, the hangover, and then the paper glued on top of it will help it too. That's how a lot of manufactured books are. Only the cover sheets hold it in. But that's what it'll be like when it's done. So, alright. Let's find the center here. I've got, there it is, an envelope there, and then I had another, but I had another one, oh no, that's not gonna work, that's too short. There, that will do it. Get some on the spine. And then around the edges, that's what I wanted the, see, I wanted the paper there for. I'm sorry, I do sometimes not complete sentences, especially when I'm essentially talking to myself. I mean, I know that you will be watching this later, but at the moment, the only person in here is me, so sometimes it feels kind of weird to talk to myself. Alright. Let's move this and move that. Wipe my hand here with a rag. And then I'm going to try to get this in there where it's supposed to be. I got this. Oh no. I usually use a baby wipe, but I guess I left them open and they dried out some. So, and I don't have access to water in my craft room unless I go get it from the bathroom, and I'm not going out there because the kids are out there and they'll be like, Mom, check this out, look what we did. Which is fine and dandy, but then I'll never be able to get back in here. And that, my friends, is essentially it. See how nice and easy that folds up? It doesn't ripple or bubble. It's because I folded it ahead of time. Alright, now, where are my other pieces? I think I want the one with the less writing back here. What do you think? And I'm gonna probably put, I don't know, I might put a pocket on the inside, on either side, to help hide the fact that my, I didn't cut my cover pages as long as my spine cover page. But, you know, it is what it is. We will fix it. Usually in junk journaling, there's not very many mistakes you can't fix somehow, because nobody will ever know that you didn't purposely mean to put that embellishment here or there, even though you're covering something up that you didn't want seen. And do the edges on this side, because I'm going to use my finger to smear it all out. We're going back to grade school, folks. So that it goes all the way to the edge. Oh, I hear the girls, they must be still having fun. That Minecraft must be something special, because that seems to be the only thing that they want to do video game wise when they're inside. Smooth this out. Somebody told me on one of the junk journal sites that art glitter glue, when it seeps out and it dries, that you can't even tell that it was ever there. So I think I'm going to have to invest in some of that. This is what I do. I used to use my bone folder, but I found that I hold my bone folder at an angle that ends up ripping the paper. So I use the flat end of my glue, and that seems to burnish it just enough without ripping it. And then I'll do that one there. That's a little much. There. They're gonna call me the Bob Ross of junk journaling before long. Just a happy little mistake. No biggie. We can fix it. We'll make it look like it was supposed to be there. Nobody will ever know. It's all our little secret. I really hope that I'm not being too annoying with my talking. I would much rather hear someone talk than music when crafting. Even in the the ones where they fast forward because it would be a 3-hour long video showing their processes otherwise. I would rather have the music than the squeaky Alvin the Chipmunks voices. But if you're just going to do a quick tutorial, or even a not so quick tutorial, talk. I'd much rather hear your voice than music, or nothing. The sound of silence does nothing for me. Let's see, it's fairly, yep. So it's about, there we go. It's about the same as the paper lined up on the bottom. Hey, I'm still recording. I might have to start using this phone. Oh, look. There. Done. Alright, now let's burnish it a little bit into the glue, or vice versa, so that we know we got good adhesion. Like that little bit. And this, my friends, is done except for doing the back and making my closure, which I'm not sure what closure I'm going to use yet. I could do hitch post, I could do just a simple ribbon or seam. Well, I don't do seam binding because, number one, I have a hard time finding it. Number two, I hate paying for anything that I can usually get for free or find for a quarter someplace else. So